everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Saturday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And today is going to be my video about my 12 years of being diagnosed with high functioning autism, what I've achieved and what I've struggled with over the 12 years since receiving my diagnosis back in 2014 at the age of 24. I'm now aged 36 years old, and I thought it'd be a good video to talk about things that I've achieved since my autism diagnosis and things that I struggle with to kind of compare the differences. And yeah, I thought let's just make a unique video, so let's get into it. Things that I've achieved since receiving my autism diagnosis in 2014 was I've got my family, I've got my friends, my best friend. They are an immaculate support network for me. Without them, I would be absolute lost. Like they are my backbone to everything that I do. So very, very important to have my family around me, and they've been able to understand me, support me, guide me, try to tell me where I've gone wrong and things like that. So yeah, the things that I've achieved since being diagnosed with autism is I've learnt to build local BBC radio connections. I've done BBC radio podcasts from my local radio station. Obviously, I started up this YouTube channel as well, which I was very scared and very naive at the time to do. I started volunteering at my local adult autism diagnostic service, who actually diagnosed me because they were looking for people at the time to get involved with some of their talks and some of their diagnostic groups. So of course I jumped at the chance to be involved with it. I help out with the newly diagnosed diagnostic support groups at my local adult autism diagnostic service. I've been doing it now for around 9 years, upcoming 10 years. I've been really, really involved with giving presentations with the team, going out to local mental health professionals, going out to local educational places, counsellors, and giving talks about World Autism Awareness Week, also known as World Autism Acceptance Week now, is what we're promoting it as. I have supported my local musician friends, so Andy Otley and Adam Thomas, who have both again been really big supporters of my autism work, and a local Freddie Mercury tribute called Connor as well. They've been amazing tribute artists to me. They've been amazing friends. They support everything that I stand for, that I'm trying to raise the fight for autism. They support what I'm trying to do here on social media. They support me as a person. They support me as Gemma. They've always had my back. They always believe in me, and they give me positive praise, and they give me suggestions, which is what I need. So again, that's something that I really do take on board and take to heart, that they do support me. My local bar landlords, Ryan, Darren, Jamie, Julia, and others that I go to pubs at, they've been 100% massively supportive of me and support what I'm trying to do, and many, many others in the environments that I'm in. I've had a couple of newspaper articles done on me from the local newspaper office here in my hometown. I've gone to more local theatre events, so I go to theatre shows, whether it's comedy, music, the Lord of the Dance show, things that I'm actually interested in, that I think are going to be good for me to get to know and see again. Doing local autism talks, my local hospital, with Roger Blake, who is the Learning Disability and Autism Liaison Nurse, is his technical job title, and he won't mind me mentioning his name because I have mentioned him in previous videos, so he is aware that I've mentioned him by name in previous videos, and I work with him at the local hospital. I help support the Learning Disability Action Group, which is LDAG for short, which is basically how I support people with learning disabilities and autism to make their reasonable adaptations when they go into hospital, whether that's as an inpatient or an outpatient or a day service user, or someone who is staying for a long-term mental health section, or someone that is just visiting a relative who may be in hospital. So it's about accessing their needs, making sure they have the reasonable and right adjustments to help them in that hospital situation. And I also talk to other hospital professionals with how to communicate with people who have different disabilities, whether it's a learning disability, intellectual disability, auditory disability, a mental disability, a neurodevelopmental disability, a neurodiverse disability. It's about making sure we take care of them as people, as humans, and making sure they get their rights read to them and they understand what's going to happen to them whilst they're in hospital and such. So I'm very much passionate about making sure the hospital doctors, consultants, pharmacists, technicians, porters and nurses, all the people that are involved, the receptionists, the admin staff, the back office staff, everyone who will come into contact with that patient, I make sure they are supported with how they get their cells treated and put through the triage system. So that's another thing that I've done. Also, I've promoted the autism friendly cinema listing. So when I first got involved deeply into autism campaigning, at the time in my hometown there was a local MP called Ben Gummer, who was the local Conservative MP, and he actually brought this to my attention, which I didn't know existed. And we actually took a trip down to local cinema at the time, and we met up with the management of the cinema, and we actually got to watch a autism friendly showing of a film. And it's very different from going into a normal cinema film, because you get to actually have the lights dimmed, you can take your own snacks in, you don't have to worry about having your bag searched on the way in, there isn't no loud jump scares or anything, like there's no film trailers before the film, it's just the film straight away, rather than going through all these trailers and the bright lights and everything. Everything is more calm, it's more easier. It's literally, you go there to watch the film, you pick your own seat, you don't have to have a rigid seat as such. So again, that would be good for autistic children and autistic people who may find it difficult to go in within the cinema system. I've also done adult autism service team recruitment interviews, so this is on Teams a lot of the time. So when my local adult autism diagnostic service are recruiting for new staff members, I've been on the Teams calls with them, where I've helped to interview, scrutinise the potential candidates for the job vacancies that they've got at the time advertised, if it's a psychologist or a social worker or an admin staff member or a trainee psychologist or a speech therapist. I sit on them Teams calls and I will help pick the right candidate potentially. I will help choose the right candidate for the position once we've scored their answers up, and I get to help out deciding that. That is a lot of fun because it helps me to communicate better. It helps me to understand that the person who's being interviewed is just as anxious as I am, because they're having to be grilled by a lot of strangers and they're having to sit on the screen and look at you and listen to you and talk to you. So again, that is something that is very, 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 very overwhelming when you're not expecting what to do. So that's something I've been doing now for around 9-10 years. I've been able to go on these team calls and help pick the right candidates, make sure that my thoughts are given to the appropriate staff members, and then they will make the overall decision based on what me and the other volunteers may give them in feedback. I've also now nearly been living on my own for 9 years next month. I live in my own council flat, apartment for you guys in America and Canada. You call them apartments. We call them flats here in UK. And it's basically just a one bed where my bedroom is. Then you got the bathroom and kitchen and what you call the lounge here in UK. I think you call it the front yard or something. So yeah, that's kind of another big thing that I've done, because I never thought, to be honest, that I would live on my own. It hasn't really come to my knowledge or something that I would comprehend by myself, and I found myself in a position where I had to live on my own and move out of my parents' house for reasons. And that was something I never ever thought that I'd have to ever do. I was always content with living with my mum or my dad. I never thought that I'd have to see a day where it was like, oh, Gemma, actually, you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet and, eventually move into your own place. And at first I absolutely hated it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I absolutely hated it. Hated it with a passion. Kept crying, kept being emotional, didn't like it. I was like, you know what, I'm ready to go back and live with my dad or whatever. And after a few weeks of kind of learning to settle in and having people come to visit, and I kind of got used to it. And now I love my own solitude. Once I shut my front door, I shut the world up. I'm like, yep, sod off, leave me alone, go away, don't want to talk to you, leave me alone. I absolutely love peace and quiet. I love the solitude. Sometimes I wish I had more people come to visit, or I wish I had more people come around, but sometimes when you have that sensory overwhelm or anxiety, you just want to go, no, see ya. So yeah, that's kind of good in that aspect, that I get to live on my own, be independent, go out when I want, come home when I want, And, you know, so that's a good side of things that I've achieved over the 12 years. Obviously, I became an auntie to my little nephew when he was born. He's now 12 years old next month. So, again, I became an auntie. So, that's been something that has been a really highlight for me over the years since becoming a autism activist, autism campaigner, speaker, disability speaker. You know, I've done a lot of work with people in my local community. So what have I struggled with? What are things that I've really noticed in my autism, or me as a general person, that I struggle with? Is grief. Loss is the first one, which has hit me hard. Trust me on that. I've lost both my gran and my nan and my Aunt June since being on YouTube, and it has hurt me bad. It has shocked me. It has upset me. It's made me doubt myself in some abilities, because I'm like, why would this happen? Why now? Why am I losing people that I care about? Why am I losing people that are some of the biggest supporters to my cause, to my fight, to my struggle, and now they've left me, and now I'm having to continue doing this without them being here and supporting me. And that broke me for a little while. I was like, oh, can I do this without them? Do I want to do this without them? And I've had to remember, just because they're not here physically anymore, they're here spiritually with me. And I have to remember that they are watching from up there. And I know that they are proud of me. I know they support me. I know they back me. I know they love me. And I have to continue. And even though the tears do fall occasionally, and I do miss them, of course, I love them with all my heart, and it does kill me still to this day that I know that it's come up to a year that my nan's been gone, and I'm like, why? Why did that have to happen? Why has my nan left me? Why did my gran leave me? And it's made me question a few things about life and how life has gone so quick, and you click your thing and then one person's gone, you click your thing and another person's gone, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still carrying on the fight. I'm still carrying on what I want to do, what I'm needing to do. And I think that's important, knowing that I've actually using that as a motivation force to continue. The second one is confidence and self-esteem and anxiety issues. This has been a chronic thing with me since the beginning of my channel, or even before my channel existed here on YouTube. I've always had confidence issues. I've always had issues with feeling not good enough, or feeling that people don't believe me, or that I can't do things. And my dad and my family have always been like, Gemma, you can do this, come on, you can do this, let's go and try this, let's go and try that. And I've been like, and they're like, come on, Gemma, we can do it. Especially my dad, he's like, Gemma, come on, we'll do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And I'm like, and it's always been something that's that inner doubt in me. It goes, nah, don't think so, don't think I can achieve that, don't want to do it, not interested, nope, just don't want to do it. And that's caused massive internal anxiety, doubt, insecurity issues, if you want to call it that. Then the next one is knowing what language to use or to talk about autism. This is such a controversial topic because, again, each person is different on the autism spectrum. I talk very literal. I'm very strong-headed about what I talk about. But again, to people who don't know what autism is, or people who are new to the autism community or new to the autism field in general, they may think that I'm overwhelming them or making them feel really panicked, because some of the language I use is very heavy and medicalised because of how the online social media sees it. So again, it's different from each autistic perspective, how you use words, terminology, such things as Aspie or Asperger's or high functioning or low functioning, or any of them kind of terms. It's very controversial the way that they are used. A low point for me in 2024 last year, or in the 2023, beginning of 2024, was the fact I was in hospital with a stomach infection and constipation, which was a really difficult time for me because, again, I was struggling, and it was a really unpleasant time being away from my home, being away from my stuff, not being able to communicate as often with people, and that really did put me down a little bit. It made me feel really shitty because I wasn't able to do things that I class as normal, so that was scary. Wanting to give up and feel like I failed. This is something that I go through a circle of, because sometimes I feel like I'm doing really well with YouTube stuff, and then all of a sudden I'll kind of hit a peak where I go, ooh, am I doing well? Is this going right? Was this the right video to put out? You know, so I kind of go up and down the spiral of Do I want to give up? Do I not? And it kind of drives me insane. Job searching is another thing that I've struggled with, because again, a lot of employers won't take on people with disabilities or neurodiversities, and that irritates me, because the amount of job applications I've done are very, 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 very easy to me. I could do the job with my eyes closed, but yet most employers don't acknowledge my application, or they'll put it in the bin, or I'll get we'll put you on file for 6 months, whatever. So again, it's the lack of motivation for that. Lacking the eye contact. Again, this is something I get picked up on every single video, near enough. Someone will leave a comment to me saying, oh, you lack eye contact. That's because I'm on the autism spectrum. I can't help that. My eye contact sucks. I have said this on numerous live streams, numerous videos. I can't do eye contact to save my life. Sorry, not going to explain it. Or being accused that I'm not interested in the conversation. So if I'm out in public or I'm on a live stream and someone says to me, oh, Gemma, you don't appear very interested on your topic, or you don't appear very interested in the panel, what's going on? Sometimes I just have nothing to say, or my opinion would be irrelevant, or it's not really appropriate for me to say anything, so I can't just sit there and listen till my time comes to speak about something. And another thing that I struggle with is knowing when to join in with a conversation at the right time. So again, it's waiting for that little pause, or waiting for someone to say, oh, okay, Gemma, so what's your opinion? So then I can go, oh, actually. So again, that can be difficult to read from people, because I don't know often if that is the right or wrong thing to say. But I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Bye!